If you're over 50 and you've never thought about what you keep near your front door, I need you to stop everything and watch this one all the way through. Because what I'm about to share with you isn't some random list from the internet. This comes from real conversations I've had with first responders, home safety consultants, and older Americans who learned these lessons the hard way. Some of these items are so obvious, you'll wonder why you never thought of them. Others will genuinely surprise you. And number 7 on this list is something almost nobody talks about, but it could literally save your life in the middle of the night. You won't believe number 7. Before we get into it, if you're the kind of person who likes being prepared instead of panicking when something goes wrong, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is for people who want to stay ahead, not behind. Let's get into it. Item number 1, a pair of sturdy slip-on shoes. This is where it all starts. And I know it sounds simple, but simple is what saves you when you have 3 seconds to get out the door. Most house fires give you less than 2 minutes to evacuate. That's not a guess. That comes directly from the National Fire Protection Association, and in 2025, they updated their guidance to emphasize that modern furniture and synthetic materials burn faster than anything built 30 years ago. Your house today burns hotter and quicker than the house you grew up in. Now think about this. It's 2 in the morning. The smoke alarm goes off. You jump out of bed. You're barefoot. You run to the door and step outside onto broken glass from a window that just blew out. Or onto ice in January. Or onto gravel in your driveway. And now you can't walk. Now you're a liability instead of someone who got out safely. I started keeping a pair of slip-on shoes right next to my front door about 3 years ago. Not fancy ones. Just a solid pair with rubber soles that I can step into without bending down or tying laces. I checked recently and you can get a decent pair at Walmart for under $15. That's nothing. That's the cheapest insurance you'll ever buy. Keep them right by the door. Not in the closet. Not under the bench. Right there where your feet can find them in the dark. If you're over 60 and your balance isn't what it used to be, this one thing could keep you from a fall that changes everything. Don't overthink this. Just do it tonight. Item number 2, a small flashlight that actually works. I'm not talking about the flashlight buried in your junk drawer with dead batteries from 2019. I'm talking about a flashlight that lives by your front door, that you check once a month, and that turns on the second you grab it. Power outages are getting worse in this country. The Department of Energy reported that the average American experienced over 8 hours of power interruption in 2024, and that number has been climbing every single year. Storms are stronger, grids are older, and if you live in a rural area, you already know the power can go out for days. When the lights go out, your front door becomes the most important spot in your house. It's where you orient yourself. It's where help arrives. It's where you leave from if you need to. I personally keep one of those small LED flashlights that runs on a single AA battery. Cost me about $6 on Amazon. I also keep a backup battery taped to the side of it. That's a trick someone taught me years ago, and I've never forgotten it. Tape a spare battery right to the flashlight body. That way you're never searching. If you have grandkids in the house, teach them where it is too. Make it a known spot. Everyone in the house should be able to find that flashlight with their eyes closed. Because that might be exactly how they'll need to find it. Item number 3, a laminated emergency contact card. Your phone is great until it's dead, or until you can't find it, or until your hands are shaking too hard to unlock it. I talked to a paramedic last year who told me something that stuck with me. He said the number one problem they run into with older patients is that nobody on scene knows who to call. The patient can't speak. The phone is locked. And the family doesn't find out for hours. A laminated card solves that. You write down your emergency contacts, your doctor's name and number, your pharmacy, your blood type if you know it, and any major allergies or medications. You laminate it. You hang it on a hook right next to the front door, or you put it in a small pouch attached to the door handle. When the paramedics come in, they see it immediately. When a neighbor comes to check on you, they know exactly who to call. This costs you almost nothing. A laminating pouch at Dollar Tree is about $1. You can even use packing tape if you don't have a laminator. I made one for my mother last Thanksgiving. She laughed at first. Then she told me 3 of her friends asked her to help them make one too. That tells you everything you need to know. People want this. They just haven't done it yet. Do it this weekend. It takes 10 minutes. Item number 4, a whistle on a lanyard. This one makes people uncomfortable at first. Nobody wants to think about being in a situation where they can't call for help. But it happens, and it happens more often than you'd think. The CDC reports that every year over 3 million older Americans are treated in emergency departments for fall injuries. 3 million. And a significant number of those falls happen near the entrance of the home. You're carrying groceries. You're stepping over the threshold. You're reaching for the door. And down you go. If you fall and you can't get up, and your phone is across the room, what do? You yell. But how long can you yell before your voice gives out? 5 minutes? 10? A whistle changes everything. A whistle carries. A whistle doesn't get tired. A whistle tells your neighbors something is wrong without you needing to scream yourself hoarse. I keep one on a simple lanyard hanging right on the coat hook by the front door. It's bright orange so I can see it in low light. I paid $2 for it, and I hope I never use it. But if I need it, it's right there. This is especially important if you live alone. And according to the Census Bureau, about 28% of Americans over 65 live alone. That's nearly 15 million people. If you're one of them, a whistle by the door is not paranoia. It's common sense. Item number 5, a small grab bag with 3 days of medication. This is the one that most people put off until it's too late. And I get it. Managing medications is already stressful enough without creating a second supply. But here's the reality. Whether it's a fire, a flood, a gas leak, or even a sudden trip to the emergency room, you need to be able to grab your essential medications and go. Not sort through 7 bottles on the kitchen counter. Not run back inside a house that might not be safe. Grab and go. I spoke to a pharmacist about this, and she told me something interesting. She said most pharmacies will give you a few days of emergency supply if you explain what it's for. Some insurance plans even cover a small overlap. And if not, talk to your doctor about writing a prescription specifically for a grab bag. It's becoming more common. What I did was get a small Ziploc bag, put 3 days' worth of my most critical medications in it, labeled each one with a marker, and sealed it inside a hard pencil case so it wouldn't get crushed. I put that right in the drawer of the small table next to my front door. Every month when I refill my prescriptions, I rotate the grab bag supply so nothing expires. This takes maybe 5 minutes a month. And if you ever need it, you'll be so glad you did this. You do not want to be standing in a shelter or a hospital waiting room realizing that your blood pressure medication is sitting on a counter in a house you can't go back to. Item number 6, a copy of your ID and insurance card. This goes hand in hand with the medication bag, and it's just as easy to overlook. If you leave your house in an emergency, there's a good chance you're not grabbing your wallet. You're not thinking about your purse. You're thinking about getting out. And that's exactly what you should be thinking about. But once you're safe, you're going to need identification. You're going to need your insurance information. And if you end up at a hospital, having those things speeds up your care dramatically. I photocopied my driver's license, my Medicare card, and my supplemental insurance card. I put them in a small waterproof sleeve, and I stuck that right next to the medication bag in the drawer by the door. Total cost was about $3 for the sleeve. One thing I want to mention here. A lot of people worry about identity theft when they make copies of documents. That's a fair concern. But a copy stored in your own home in a sealed bag is far less risky than being in an emergency room with no identification and no way to verify your coverage. The risk of not having it is greater than the risk of having it. This is about being practical. This is about protecting yourself when the situation is already bad enough. Item number 7, a charged portable phone charger. This is the one I said you wouldn't believe, and here's why it matters so much. Your phone is your lifeline. It's how you call 911. It's how your family reaches you. It's how you access medical records, maps, emergency alerts, and information. And if your phone dies, you are cut off. Now here's what most people don't realize. The average smartphone battery degrades significantly after about 2 years. If your phone is older than that, which for most older Americans it is, your battery might only hold 60 to 70% of its original charge. That means on a normal day, your phone might die by early evening. In an emergency, when you're making calls and using the screen constantly, it could die in a couple of hours. A portable phone charger solves this completely. You can get a reliable one on Amazon for about $15 to $20. Some of them hold enough power to charge your phone 3 or 4 times. You charge it up, you leave it by the door, and you check it once a week. I started doing this after a storm knocked out power in my area for almost 2 days. My phone died within 6 hours. I couldn't call anyone. I couldn't check weather updates. I couldn't even use the flashlight on my phone. That experience changed how I think about preparation. The key here is keeping it by the door. Not in the bedroom, not in the kitchen, by the door. Because when you leave, you grab it. That's the whole system. Everything important lives in one spot. You don't think, you don't search, you grab and go. If you take nothing else from this video, take this one. A dead phone in an emergency is a serious problem. A charged backup by the door is a $15 solution. Item number 8, a bright reflective vest or strip. This one sounds strange until you think about it for 30 seconds. If you're evacuating at night, walking along a road in the dark, or standing in your driveway waiting for an ambulance, visibility is everything. Older Americans are disproportionately affected by pedestrian accidents. The Governor's Highway Safety Association reported that pedestrian fatalities among adults over 65 have increased significantly over the past 5 years. Drivers can't see you in the dark. Especially if you're wearing dark pajamas, which is what most people are wearing when they leave the house in the middle of the night. A simple reflective vest, or even a reflective strip that you can throw over your shoulders, takes up almost no space. You can hang it right on the door handle or on the hook next to your coat. They cost about $4 to $5 at any hardware store. Walmart carries them. Home Depot carries them. Amazon has multi-packs. I bought a pack of 3 and gave one to each of my parents and kept one for myself. My dad thought I was being ridiculous. Then one night he had to walk down his driveway to meet an ambulance for a neighbor, and he grabbed it without even thinking. He told me later it was the smartest thing I ever gave him. You don't need to wear it every day. You just need it to be there when the moment comes. Item number 9, a door wedge or security bar. Let's talk about the other side of this. Not just getting out, but keeping danger from getting in. Property crime against older Americans is a real and growing problem. The FBI's crime data shows that burglary rates in certain regions have ticked up, and older adults living alone are considered soft targets by criminals. I hate saying that, but it's the truth. A door wedge is one of the simplest security tools ever invented. You kick it under the door, and suddenly that door is much harder to force open. A security bar that braces against the floor and the door handle does the same thing, but even better. These are not expensive. A solid door wedge costs $2 to $3. A security bar runs about $15 to $20. And both of them live right at the base of your front door where they're always within reach. I talked to a retired police officer about this, and he said something that really stuck with me. He said most home break-ins are crimes of opportunity. The criminal tries the door. If it opens easy, they come in. If it resists even a little, they move on. A door wedge adds just enough resistance to make them move on. This isn't about living in fear. This is about making your home a harder target with a $3 piece of rubber. That's smart, that's practical, and that's what this channel is about. Item number 10, an envelope with cash. I know this one feels old-fashioned, but old-fashioned works when nothing else does. When the power goes out, credit cards don't work, ATMs don't work, Apple Pay doesn't work, nothing digital works. And if you need to buy water, gas, food, or pay someone for help, cash is the only thing that matters. Financial preparedness experts have been saying this for years. FEMA recommends keeping a small amount of cash in your emergency supplies, and yet most people I talk to have almost no cash at home. Everything is on a card, everything is digital, and that's fine, until it isn't. I keep a sealed envelope with about $200 in small bills in the drawer by my front door, 5s, 10s, and 20s. Nothing bigger. Small bills are easier to use and you don't have to worry about someone not being able to make change. I've had that envelope for over a year now, and I haven't touched it. That's the point. It's not spending money. It's emergency money. It sits there until the day you need it. And on that day, you will be incredibly glad it's there. If $200 feels like too much, start with $50. Start with whatever you can. The point is, having something. Because when the grid goes down, even for a few hours, cash is king. It always has been. Item number 11. A written evacuation plan on the wall. This might be the most underrated item on this entire list. And it's not even an item you buy. It's something you create. A simple piece of paper taped to the wall next to your front door that says where you go if you have to leave. The address of a family member. The name and address of the nearest shelter. A meeting point if you live with someone else. The phone number of your local emergency management office. FEMA has been pushing personal evacuation plans for years, but compliance is incredibly low. Most families don't have one. Most older Americans definitely don't have one. And when the moment comes, when the water is rising or the fire is spreading or the tornado siren is going off, that is not the time to start making a plan. I wrote mine on a bright yellow piece of paper and taped it right at eye level next to the front door. It has 3 things on it: where I go first, who I call first, and what I grab on the way out. That's it. 3 things. Simple enough to read in a panic. Simple enough to follow when your brain isn't working at full speed. If you have a spouse or a partner, make this plan together. If you live alone, share it with a neighbor or a family member so someone else knows what your plan is. That way, if they can't reach you, they know where to look. This costs nothing. It takes 15 minutes. And it could be the most important piece of paper in your entire house. Item number 12. A house key. Hidden outside the door. I saved this one for last because it's the one people argue about the most. And I understand the concern. But hear me out. If you step outside to check the mail, take out the trash, or grab a package, and that door locks behind you, what happens next? If it's July, you're standing in the heat. If it's January, you're standing in the cold. If you don't have your phone, you can't call anyone. And if you have a medical condition that requires medication or monitoring, being locked out of your own home can become a medical emergency very quickly. Locksmiths report that calls from older adults locked out of their homes spike dramatically during extreme weather months, and the average locksmith call now costs between $75 and $150. That's a lot of money for something a $5 key could have prevented. Now, I'm not saying put a key under your doormat. That's the first place anyone looks. Get a lockbox, a small combination lockbox that attaches to a railing or a pipe near your door. They cost about $10 to $15. You set a code that you and one trusted person know, and the key stays there, safe and hidden, until you need it. I installed one at my mother's house last spring. She was skeptical. Then she locked herself out in August while watering her plants. She used the lockbox, got back inside in 30 seconds, and called me to say thank you. She doesn't argue about it anymore. This is not about security risk. This is about balancing security with accessibility. And for older Americans, accessibility matters just as much. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture here. Every single item on this list has one thing in common. They're all cheap, they're all simple, and they all live in one spot, right by your front door. That's the whole idea. Your front door is your transition point. It's where you leave from. It's where help arrives. It's where you make the split-second decisions that determine how the next few hours or days go. And if that spot is prepared, you are prepared. Most people won't do any of this. They'll watch this video, nod their heads, and then go back to scrolling. But you're not most people. You're here because you want to be ready. You want to be the person who handles the situation, not the person who gets overwhelmed by it. And here's what I've learned. Preparation isn't about fear. It's about removing fear. When you know your shoes are by the door, your flashlight works, your medications are packed, and your plan is on the wall, you sleep better. You worry less. You live more freely because you know you've handled the what-ifs. The people who wait are the ones who suffer. The people who prepare are the ones who stay calm. And calm is everything when things go sideways. If this video helped you, I need you to do 2 things. First, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I put out content like this every week, and the next one is going to cover something that even I was shocked to learn about. You don't want to miss it. Second, share this with someone you love. A parent, a neighbor, a friend who lives alone. Send them this video. You might not be able to be there when something happens, but you can make sure they're ready. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next one.